Censorship has been crazy over the past few weeks, and I feel like every time I turn around, there's a new game being toned down for the West in what companies call modern audiences. And one major issue I've had is that they're toning down female characters, and in some cases, erasing terms like woman and female as if being a woman is so offensive to audiences. But another game has unfortunately been censored, and it looks like it was censored on PlayStation, but also on the Nintendo Switch. I have a bunch of things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or supporting the channel via YouTube membership. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So I wanted to start off with this article from February, and I actually hadn't heard that this game is going to be censored in the first place. I must have missed this initial article, but then we'll go into the new article. It says Ame no Uzume's beautiful cleavage censored in Pocky and Rocky Reshrined. Those looking to purchase the Pocky and Rocky Reshrined sequel will possibly be swayed from this decision after learning the Western version of the game is seemingly being censored, as the delectable new female Azame no Uzume's wondrous cleavage was covered up. The original Japanese trailer showed off her splendid chest, but of course, the English trailer gave the woman a breast reduction and made her cover herself up. Now, as you can see, she was originally an extremely busty character. I like her character design. I think that she looks pretty cool. Her robes are very flowy. I like her headpiece and the way that her hair is. I think that she overall looked pretty good. But of course, in the English trailer, they decided to cover her up as if the female form is offensive, as if it's bad. And we've seen a lot of companies run with that over the past few months. I've talked about the whole entire Chrono Cross situation where they decided to change character outfits and remove the term woman as if it's offensive. Unfortunately, it's a running theme, but the article says such a change is sadly expected and normal in the Western video game industry in this current era of political correctness and hatred towards the attractive female frame, and many will be curious if the game itself will be censored as well and not just the trailer. We can still hope at this point that it is just the trailer. It doesn't come out for a little while longer. Unfortunately, though, when we see a censored, toned-down trailer, we know instantly that that version of the game exists, and clearly they wouldn't create that version of the game if it wasn't going to be used. A lot of people speculated that, oh, maybe it's just going to be censored for the PlayStation, maybe not Nintendo, but at this point in time, unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be censored on both. This is an article from yesterday. It says Pocky and Rocky Reshrined confirmed censored on both PlayStation 4 and Switch for the West. It says the censored trailer for Pocky and Rocky Reshrined was a sign of things to come, as screenshots for the Western version of the PS4 and Nintendo Switch editions censored Azame no Uzume's cleavage in-game. The Japanese releases both thankfully allowing the woman's breasts to be visible. The Amazon store pages for both the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 versions of the Western release had a screenshot of a cutscene with her and depicted her chest in a covered up state. Now, it wouldn't surprise me at all if this game was censored on the PlayStation 4. We know that Sony has allowed very little adult content on their platforms over the past few years, but it's Nintendo that has me a little bit worried. Nintendo has been pretty good with censorship, meaning they haven't forced a lot of developers to censor their games and change content, and I've been really happy to see that. It used to be Nintendo was the one who was censorship heavy and didn't give devs creative freedom, and Sony let anything on their platforms. But that's changed, and we've all praised Nintendo, but hearing this is really disappointing. Now, obviously, at this point, it looks like it's censored on both, but there's still a little hope that it won't be changed on at least Nintendo. video. Maybe the photos on the listing were simply the generic ones given to them to post, but I wouldn't pre-order this game until it's come out and we've seen gameplay videos released. At this point in time, I will not be supporting this game, and I would suggest everyone wait until it releases, until we can actually see the content from individuals who have the game in their hands. And this is just so sad. I mean, this game, in my opinion, actually looks pretty interesting. If I found out about this while looking through a list of games and censorship wasn't an issue, I'd probably buy it and enjoy my time with it. But as soon as situations like this pop up, I take a step back, and usually I don't buy games like this since I don't want to support developers who go back on their ideas and change their games for companies. I get that they need to make money and want it to be on as many platforms as possible, but it doesn't change the fact that the content is different. And of course, over the past few weeks, we've seen a lot of situations pop up with women being offensive. It's 2022, and the female form and also just female terms are offensive now. This was something I made a video on a couple of days ago. Triangle strategy, English translation butchered, the word woman is offensive. The worst part about these situations is that these developers come out and they say, we decided to tone down our game for women and for Western audiences. They say things like, oh, we're toning females down so that they're not overly sexualized because we respect women, which is absolutely absurd. As a woman, it is offensive to me to see terms like female and woman be removed from games, to see them tone down the female form. They're not protecting any women by doing this. They're just pissing us off, let's be honest. No one wants to see themselves erased from a video game, from a book, from a TV show, and them going into titles. And censoring the female form isn't a way, at least for me as a woman, to get me to buy your game. It makes me not want to purchase your game because it makes me feel like you actually don't respect me as a human being. Unfortunately, like I've mentioned, this isn't new. I don't think that this is going to stop anytime soon. Companies are so focused on making their games appeal to modern audiences, aka audiences that aren't real, audiences that don't actually exist. And if they want to make their games appeal to people like SJWs, they're not going to buy this game anyway. Because even though you censored it, even though you toned it down, even though you removed the terms woman and female to make them more gender neutral, they do not care because your game featured that content in the first place. So they're going to say, you know what? I'm not going to support a developer who would do that in the first place. Make your games appeal to people who are actually going to purchase them. Stop toning them down for ridiculous reasons. And just let people create what they want to create. I only want to support projects where developers were able to create what they wanted, to release their vision. And if that happens to be with sexy females or with the terms female and woman, good for them. And if you're going to tone that down, you're not going to get me to purchase your title. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.